everyone, and welcome to Sweet Pea Stitch Inspirations. My name is Sydney, and today we are going to be working on the Tunisian Crochet Seed Stitch, which is going to be a two repeat alternating between knit and a Tunisian purl. If you do not know how to do either one of those stitches, feel free to check out my Tunisian crochet playlist where both of those stitches are within the playlist, and then come back to this video. Now you are going to need to chain a multiple of 2 plus 2. Now the 2 extra out of stitches are for our edges. So go ahead and chain a multiple of any 2 plus 2, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Now you will need to go ahead and work up your setup rows for Tunisian crochet, which I've already done. I'm just going to be showing you the 2 row repeat in today's tutorial. Once you have gotten your setup rows complete, we'll go ahead and begin on the 2 row repeat for the seed stitch. So as always, the first stitch here that's on our hook, that is always going to count as the first stitch, so you will not work in the side stitches here. But we will go into the next stitch, and we are going to start off with a Tunisian knit stitch. So to do a Tunisian knit stitch, you have these 2 vertical bars here, and we are actually going to go into those 2 vertical bars where you can see my fingernail sticking out of. We're going to go into that space, and then we are just going to draw up a loop. So that is how you do a Tunisian knit stitch. And now for our next stitch, we are going to do a Tunisian purl. So what I like to do is go ahead and move my yarn in front of my hook, and I will actually move my hook to where the tapered part of the hook is facing downwards, and then I will go into the next stitch as if I was to do a slip stitch, but making sure my hook is facing down. And then I'll go ahead and move my working yarn underneath my hook, and then just go ahead and pull that yarn through. And I kind of maneuver my hook and slide it to where now it's facing up. And so that is how you do a Tunisian purl. Again, if you need any help and going a little bit more into depth of how to do a Tunisian purl, feel free to check out my playlist. So now in the next stitch, we are going to do another knit stitch. So go in between those 2 vertical bars and then draw up a loop. And then now we are going to do a Tunisian purl. So again, I like to make sure that my yarn is in front of my hook and my hook facing down. Go into that stitch like a slip stitch, move my working yarn underneath my hook. Oop. Let's try that again. And then pull my yarn through that stitch and kind of maneuver my hook to where it's now facing up. So we're going to go ahead and continue alternating between the 2, the knit and the Tunisian purl stitch, until we have reached our very last stitch. And then I will go ahead and meet you once I have made it to my very last stitch. So I ended up leaving off with a purl stitch. And then now for my very last stitch, we are going to go into the chain 1 of our return pass, and we are going to catch both of those loops and pull through. So that is the first row repeat of our return pass, and now we are going to, or our forward pass, sorry. Now we're going to do the return pass. So we are going to go ahead and chain 1. So just pull through, and then now we are going to pull through 2. Go ahead and continue pulling through 2 until you have reached, if I can get this working right, but you will go ahead and continue pulling through 2 until you have made it to where you have only 1 loop left on your hook, and I will meet you once I have gotten to that point. And now I have one loop left on my hook. So now we're going to do the opposite and start off with a Tunisian purl stitch and alternate between Tunisian purl stitch and Tunisian knit stitch. So again, this first loop on your hook always counts as one. And so we will go to the next stitch. We won't be working in these side stitches here, but we'll go into the next stitch and we are going to start off with the Tunisian purl. So again, I like to make sure that my working yarn is in front of my hook with my hook facing down. Go into that stitch like a slip stitch and then move my working yarn to where it's now at the bottom of my hook, and I can easily grab and pull through. So a Tunisian purl, and now we are going to go into the next stitch and do a Tunisian knit stitch. So again, there's 2 vertical bars here, and we're going to go into the center of the vertical bar where my nail is. So we'll go in between those 2 vertical bars and pull up a loop. Again, we're going to do a purl stitch in the next stitch, and then a knit stitch in the next. So go ahead and continue alternating between the purl and the knit stitch, and then I will meet you for once I have made it to the end of this row. So now I left off with a knit stitch, and now in our very last stitch, which is going to be that chain 1 space that we made in our return pass, we're going to grab those both loops and then pull through both of those loops. And now to do our return pass, again, we are going to chain 1. So we're going to pull through 1, and then we are going to pull through 2, and pull through 2, pull through 2 until you have 1 loop left on your hook. And that is the 2 row repeats for the seed stitch. Again, the first row repeat, we are going to start off with a knit and then purl, knit, purl, and then the second row repeat, we are going to purl, knit, purl, knit. So again, we are going to be alternating between the knit and the purl stitches and just do a basic return pass. And those are the 2 row repeats. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please don't forget to give this video a like, share, comment, or subscribe. And to bind off, you will just continue working in pattern. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you would like to know more about Tunisian crocheting or find other stitches, feel free to check out my playlist, and I will see you for the next tutorial.